I mean, let's remember, a decision had to be made, Fred. This is not something that you can put your head in the sand on. When the electricity experts come to you and they say, Mr. Martin, we're short of electricity. Holyrood is aging. We have to do something or the lights will not be on. Two choices, do nothing or do something. Well, the first is not an option. You have to do something. So something had to be done for electricity. And therefore, we went into the analysis of what was right, what was the best thing to do, and that's all been documented, and Muskrat Falls was selected as the best option, still is, and we pursued it. But remember, no decision is a decision. You can't sit back from an electricity perspective and not meet the needs of the public. Absolutely, unequivocally no. And I gave an example in my written statement, and I'll repeat that example because that's just something I can't understand. During my whole career, I've been totally honest, ethical, transparent, and been making decisions and been involved in these decisions forever. Have never done anything like that, and never did on this project. The example I used, and there's a suggestion that at financial close, you have sanctioned and you have financial close a year later. At financial close, the cost went from 6.2 billion to 6.5. The thought that wasn't communicated in the report doesn't make sense to me. The report indicates that senior bureaucrats knew. They indicate that the independent engineer for the federal government knew. The federal government knew. In Premier Dunderdale's own written report, it's clearly stated.
But why did she say that she didn't know?
Well, it's clearly stated she said she did know. That's in her written report, and I've referenced the page number in my release. I asked anyone to check that. She said she did know. Mr. Ken Marshall, chair of the board, in his testimony, is clearly stated, and I gave the reference as well. He said the board did know before financial.
So you didn't withhold it from the board either, you or anyone else with knowledge?
Absolutely not. That is documented in the report, and I don't understand when you put those things together. And those are in the report. Those references are either in the report or in evidence. When you put those together, it's clear that the premier of the day and the chair of the board and the board knew about that 300 million prior to financial close.
How did we get here? Well, how did we get to this point?
That's a question I can't answer, but I've certainly documented, the very thing I just said. And if you put that in perspective, for me, I don't understand that. And I will repeat that I've been involved in these types of operations for many, many years. I've always had a reputation for being open, honest, ethical, and doing things for the right reasons. I did then, I did during Muskrat, and I would continue to do that if I was involved in something today.